What's going on here? Hey guys, this is Aussie Van Man here, and we are here at the Military Vehicle Museum in Wyoming, out towards Lander, or Riverton, really close to Riverton, Wyoming. The museum here has 140,000 square foot of military vehicles from the 1800s up to current. I'm super excited to be here, guys. Obviously, you guys know I like military and military history. It just happened by chance. I was looking up places to check out in this area, and this place right here popped up, and I decided to make the trip today. All right, let's go in, take a look inside. See you in there. What we have here is Private John Simpson's musket, and it fired the first shot at Bunker Hill. Recently acquired in 2019 from the family who have kept it all this time. Super excited about this gun. It's an absolutely historic piece right there. Really excited about this place. 20 bucks to get in. Absolutely amazing. I just watched the video. We are inside the weapons vault right now. They have an absolutely amazing amount of vehicles, not just land vehicles, air vehicles, water vehicles, everything. So let's continue on. Okay guys, we have some really special guns here. Right down the bottom here we have Wyatt Earp's pistol. Right here we have General Patton's automatic 1911. Up the top here was Chief Rain in the Face Winchester rifle. And this one here is special because they say it could have been the rifle that killed Tom Custer. Up here on number 5 you can see this really flash looking customized piece. It's a sharpshooter, J.F. Brown Civil War sharpshooter rifle 45. To up the top above it you can see British muskets. Also look very fancy. Up here we have a really cool Winchester piece up on here. Now I am quite a bit of a World War II buff. I really love my World War II stuff. And here we have more of the World War II stuff. Here we have the Browning BAR rifle. Up here we have some M1s. We've got the Thompson gun up here, or Tommy gun as some people would call it. We've got the carbine on the bottom here. I think that was for nighttime firing. We've got the Browning M2 up here. Up here we have the Stormbriar. We've got a grease gun at the top here. I think that's a Car 98. Underneath there, we have the German Luger pistol, as you can see. Here you can see the famous M16 from the Vietnam era, and the M14 above it. Down below we got the M16A1 with their 40mm grenade launcher. Down here we got the M249 Squad automatic saw, as you would know it. We got the AK-47. As you can see here, we have some of the big guns. Rocket launchers. A whole wall of rocket launchers and cannons. Check this out, guys. We got a MP5 briefcase firing machine gun right here. Fires from inside the briefcase. Up here we have a Colt 45. Yeah, some very strange little pieces I guess you could hide on your persons back in the Wild West. Down the bottom here you can see the 4-barrel flintlock pistol. That's pretty wild. Okay guys, so behind me here you can see this crazy photo of Pearl Harbor after it was getting attacked. So check it out. We got a destroyer sitting in the back there and some smaller ships. I think we have the USS Cashapp, the USS Downs in the dry dock, and the USS Pennsylvania in the background after the Japanese attack December 7th, 1941 on Pearl Harbor. Absolutely crazy. Check that out, guys. It's a stunning photo. Okay guys, so as you guys know, I'm a motorcycle fan. We got a really cool military motorcycle here. Let's have a look. It says the Indian 841. Look at that. That's insane. What's the year on that? So before they used Harleys in the military, they had Indians. So they only built 1,000 of these overall, but 130,000 for the military. Okay guys, so I guess everybody likes little cuddly creatures like hedgehogs, right? Well, right here we got what they call the beach hedgehog. Now, these were used on Utah Beach to stop military vehicles coming up the beach. As you can see here, there's a range of different types of defenses they had lined up on the beaches. Beach obstacles. Now right here we have the British Special Operations canoe. This tiny little thing here is a military vehicle for British soldiers. Okay guys, so this ship here should look familiar to you guys. If you ever watched the war movies where they land on Normandy Beach, this is the troop carrying ships, as you can see back here. Very cool. This is the same thing that would have been landing on the beach. The gate at the front flips open. Everybody comes running out, or the vehicles come driving out, whatever it may be. Super cool. Now as you can see here, it was made by a Louisiana boat builder. They say this boat here helped win the war. This boat here could hold up to 36 troops or a small truck. Now behind me here, you can see the LVT-4 amphibious tank. Now this thing would move along with its tracks in the water and could hold troops or vehicles. As you can see, like the boat we just seen, this track behind me would fall down, open up, and then the vehicle or the troops would come on out. Now, I know I said I'm a motorcycle guy, but one thing I am not is a scooter guy. I'm not a big fan of my scooters, I'm afraid, sorry. But I am kind of surprised to find out the military did use scooters in the war. Check this out. The Cushman Model 53 scooter. Lightweight and fast. This little thing would also tow a trailer. How about that? Okay guys, so behind me we have the M3 Stuart light tank. Very small, not very heavily armored. This tank here was actually replaced by the medium tank. Apparently they decided there was no place for light tanks very early on in the fight, so they quickly replaced it with a newer model. Over here we have the Japanese Type 94 37mm gun, which would have been used a lot on the hillsides and on the beaches. Now guys, behind me, check out this Jeep. It's insane. This is a Jeep that the British had used for the SAS, but look how they've decked it out with all the guns and extra pieces. Double machine gun on the front. We've got the machine gun on the side there, machine gun on the rear. This thing would have laid out an absolute hail of bullets back in the time. Back behind me we have the HMC Priest. Now as you can see on top of it, it's got this big behemoth of an artillery gun on it. That's just insane. Behind me we have the medium tank that replaced that smaller tank earlier. This is the M3 tank, which is, as you can see, they say medium, but it's still a behemoth of a tank. It's quite crazy. Just have a look at it. Right here we have the famous half-track. This is the longest serving vehicle in World War II. Okay guys, behind me here we have an entire line of M4A1s. Let's go have a look at the different types that we got. Right here you can see the M4A1 mortar carrier. And the side boost has all the mortar rounds inside of them. There's a mortar in the background, machine gun mounted to the top. Over here we got the T19 105mm HMC. It's basically a half track with a giant artillery cannon mounted to it. Over here we got the M15 special half track. This has a 40mm anti-aircraft gun mounted to the top of it. M15A1 half track has synchronized guns and twin Brownings mounted to it. 3A1 half track. Then we have the anti-aircraft M16 half track right here. Okay guys, so really exciting. Right behind me here, if you have a look, this is the M4A1 Sherman tank. One of the most widely seen or widely known tanks of the World War II. The Allies' best all-around tank, the Sherman. This tank right here was America's main tank. We would have seen General Patton getting around on. This one they've named the Sorcerer on the front. Check this thing out. It's insane. The M1 8-inch howitzer. This thing would fire 8-inch projectiles. That thing would just absolutely obliterate you. So behind me here, we have a just as equally important tank. This was the second most produced tank of World War II, the M4 Sherman tank. Gunslinger. Okay guys, check this out. Obviously I love my motorcycles. We got a couple of new ones here. Got the Indian, I think it's a 640B and a 741. Of course, we can't go without the Harley Davidson. Most people know the war for the Harley Davidson, not the Indians. Over here you can see a little camp set up, what things would have been going on, like military operations, like a command base on the front lines. So we can see a command post. We'd have our telecommunications going back and forth, you know, mapping, basically everything to run the front line. We run out of these command posts that would be usually just behind the front line. Okay guys, so behind me we have a bit of a representation of the Battle of the Bulge behind me here. So let's have a look at that. Now for those who don't know much about the Battle of the Bulge, they do have a plaque here. On December 16th, 1944, the German Wehrmacht unleashed their Ardennes offensive, intended for reverse German fortunes by breakthrough on the Western Front. The ensuing 6-week struggle, the Battle of the Bulge, resulted in some of the largest and most sustained tank engagements of the war. The massive participation by infantry and artillery. Battles raged through the deep woods and rolling hills of the Ardennes forest amidst bitterly cold winter marked by thick fogs and heavy snowfall. The German attacks were halted and then beaten back by fierce fighting. It would be Germany's last major offensive. Now, if any of you have ever seen Band of Brothers miniseries, you would remember the Battle of Bulge when they were stuck in the forest for the winter outside of Foy. They were constantly getting shelled. There's a lot of engagement. They were trapped out there. Extremely hard times. A lot of the military, American military, were not ready for a harsh European winter, and they did not have the appropriate winter gear or supplies to survive the winter. They stuck with it and they fought it out, and somehow they came through. So here you can see the German Jagdpanzer 38 Hetzer tank destroyer. Pretty crazy looking piece of gear. Over here we have the 4th Armored Division Relief Column of Bastogne. Right here we have Bastogne Relief, the Sherman, a GMC Hellcat M18 tank destroyer. Battle of the Bulge veteran right here. As you can see, they have a little piece here on 101st Airborne, which is what I was talking about, that mini-series. So the 101st Airborne were the ones that were stuck out in the woods for quite a long time on the front line. Generally with not much supplies sent through, a lot of the air supplies dropped enemy territory and they could not retrieve it. So we've got this giant flame-throwing tank here, which really would not have been much fun if you were going up against this thing. We have an infantry soldier here, a Marine by the looks of his uniform there, with a flamethrower attached to his back. They would have used this to burn the Japanese out of their bunkers. Unfortunately, the person wearing one of these flamethrower backpacks here, if they were to get shot, good chance that their backpack would explode on them and ignite them. Not a very fun way to go. This strange little piece is funny enough, apparently a prototype. The Japanese Type 97 was designated a light armored car and created to replace the Type 94 tankette. Now here we have the German Panzer III. It's a pretty crazy looking tank. Right here we got Russian M72 sidecar motorcycle. That's very cool. We have another command car set up here with a little scene. We have the German searchlight and generator right here. That's cool. I've actually never seen one of these in a museum before, so it's really cool to see this. We've got a giant 8.8 centimeter flak cannon. This thing is pretty dang big. German flak cannon. Okay, my motorcycle guys out there, we got some more cool motorcycles over here. Look at that. What is that? Yes, everybody knows what a BMW is. We have the German BMW R12. Principal motorcycle of the German Armed Forces. So I don't think I've actually ever seen one of these German military BMWs, so this is a first for me. Really excited about this, guys. And then right here we have the German BMW. It's the R71. So right here we have the German Kettenkrad. It's the tank track motorcycle style vehicle with a trailer attached to the back for ammunition. Now, that's another first for me. I've never actually been able to see one of these, so this is turning out to be a really cool museum. There's a lot of firsts in this building for me. We have the German DKW RT125, the #1 supplier of motorcycles to the Wehrmacht. So that one, I've never even heard of that one, so that's kind of interesting to see. Looks like it's got a little 125cc motorcycle engine in it. And everybody should know this one. This is the little German one that you would see running around with officers and stuff in it. The German Kubelwagen, they call it. Everybody's probably seen that in all the military movies. And obviously we have the Opel German staff car here that you would all have seen the officers running around in. Okay, I'm really excited about this one. We have a BSA here. Apparently the Canadian used this British-built BSA, which is, for those who don't know motorcycles, BSA is British Small Arms. They used to be a gun manufacturer, and then they got into motorcycle manufacturing, and they blew up. They were pretty big for a long time, but they don't make them anymore. They dissolved eventually. But they got the British, they got the Canadian BSA right here. And we have the British BSA, so obviously the British also used the BSAs for their motorcycles. Then we have the Canadian Armored Car Fox. So in this bit, it looks like to be a bit of a Navy section. As you can see, we have the big naval gunnery on the back here. Let's have a closer look, see what that's about. Now here we can see a range of different artillery. Now this strange looking piece, I don't believe I've ever seen one of these before. They call it the Backham BA-349 Natter experimental rocket airplane. So here's how it would take off. It'd take off pointing nose up like a rocket, soar through the air, fly up here, and I guess it would dive bomb, fire rockets down, and then both the pilot and the jet would send out a parachute and float down to the ground. Kind of a crazy idea, probably why they never really used it. Okay guys, so we're in the Korean War section right now, so let's go for a walk through and check it all out. Okay guys, behind us you can see we're about to go into the Vietnam War section. So let's see what they got for up there. Okay guys, behind me you can see one of the main military trucks they would have used for transporting cargo and troops for the Vietnam War. Now they found that those would be under severe heavy fire and attack in the Vietnam War. So they improvised a new weapon to protect convoys against that. And that weapon was, that's right, the armored gun trucks. They used to customize them with heavy armory, as many machine guns as they could pack onto them. Let's have a look at one right here. So this one appears to have, looks like anti-aircraft guns mounted on the back here. The Rolling Thunder. You got armored glass plate on the side here. You can see all the machine guns they had mounted on these things. It was ridiculous. Look at the minigun mounted right up on the front there. Absolutely insane amount of firepower.
Well, congratulations, Robert. Get home safe. Up next on 13939.
These things were absolutely vital in the Vietnam War. This was an invention by the soldiers themselves. Each one was custom to each group that was rolling out in them. They'd adjust them to how they needed them to be. All right, rolling on. M55-1. Here we have the M109, it's 155 millimeter self-propelled. Look at the giant gun on that thing. I think this might have to be my next van life van. What do you reckon, guys?
Tonight, back in more familiar surroundings in New York, we'd like to sum up our findings in Vietnam, an analysis that must be speculative, personal, subjective. Who won and who lost in the great Tet offensive against the cities? I'm not sure. Viet Cong did not win by a knockout, but neither did we. Referees of history may make it a draw. But it is increasingly clear to this report that the only rational way out then.
Okay guys, behind me, check this out. They got an entire river gunboat here. An entire river gunboat in this museum. Check it out. Look at that. These things were used extensively in the Vietnam War. They'd be constantly patrolling the rivers, constantly under attack, but these things have crazy powerful jet motors in them. These things were fast and powerful and heavily armed with machine guns. These are basically another side of the face of the Vietnam War. You can't talk about the Vietnam War without the river battles on these PT gunships right here. Very, very cool to see. I've never seen one in person like this before. So, yeah.
This is Foxtrot 23, rounds. Damn it. You're in the rear, which I'd like to see your antenna.
Okay guys, so as we enter the General Patton gallery, this is actually the gallery where they have some rotating artifacts. They'll be rotating some of the more interesting stuff that they can get into the gallery here. So some of the more interesting items. So let's go have a look at those items right now. Okay guys, so you all know what a Model T car is and how historic that is as a piece of history. But as you can see here, we have a Model T ambulance. Check that out. Cannot say that I've ever seen a Model T ambulance before. Right here we have a Hitler skunk. I guess put shame to Hitler. They have quite a few figurines that they'd put out there. So we have a Hitler piggy bank with Hitler's face on the rear end. We have a Hitler as a skunk. And over there, it's a bear butt Hitler on number 10. Over here, we have a collection of mortars. That's crazy looking. Right here, you can see some army chainsaws here. These were manufactured in 1943 and 1944. We've taken 2 people to use these. And right here we have a collection of army or military helmets. We have some women's military dresses and overalls. Here we have some of the original Jeeps. Apparently they made a Ford Jeep. We got the Ford GP Jeep here. Willys MA Jeep. The Bantam BRC40 Jeep. And over here we have this strange thing. Alice Chalmers M7 Snow Tractor. We got some sleds on the front of that one. Okay guys, so that was it. There's way too much to put on the camera. I had to pick and choose some of my favorite things. A lot of you are gonna have your own favorite things here, but yeah, I'd highly recommend coming here. It opened up in 2020, right before COVID hit. Everything's sparkling and brand new, and it's absolutely amazing. I did hear from some of the staff in there that part of the museum was done by the same people who do some of the Disney rides. So the layout and everything, the noises and the projections and stuff like that, it's just kind of has that Disney feel. It's absolutely amazing. This is going to be in my top, one of my favorite military museums ever. Super fun. So hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me. I'd highly recommend you guys coming here yourselves and checking it out. Until next time guys, this is Aussie Man. We'll see you later. What's going on here?